Hello parents, welcome back, and today we are going to dive into the topic of social story. So are you feeling stuck with the current intervention strategies? And does it seem like nothing you try is really working? If so, social stories might be the missing piece. In one study involving a 5-year-old boy with autism, his previous strategies had little effect. But when social stories was added to the intervention, the results significantly improved. And this shows that combining your existing strategies with social stories could boost their effectiveness and finally bring the progress that you've been hoping for. So let's take a closer look at how this simple story can actually make such a big difference. What is a social story, you might ask? As quoted from Carolgray, it is a story that accurately describes a context, skill, achievement, or concept according to 10 defining criteria. This criteria guides story research, development, and implementation to ensure an overall patient and supportive quality and a format to voice content and learning experience that is descriptive, meaningful, and physically, socially, and emotionally safe for the child, adolescent, or adult with autism. So in short, this story also helps to bring perspective to your child, helping them to see from perspective and then knows what's expected when situation arise or in a specific context. Let's take a look at what challenging behaviors social stories can help with. So research has found that using Carolgray's social story guidelines can lead to positive change in behaviors such as aggression, insect phobia, bedtime routines, and inappropriate public behaviors. They have also found that it helps with turn-taking, staying on task, and managing conflicts. Lastly, it's also effective in managing emotional and behavioral regulations, such as reduction of sudden outbursts of behaviors or screaming aggression towards siblings. So whether you are working on daily routines or emotional control, social stories can be a powerful supportive tool for your child. Here is Carolgray's 10 criteria to make a social story, of which I will not go into detail in this video. However, I will put the link to the document in the description box below. If you have any more questions about creating your own personalized social stories, feel free to contact us and we'll guide you through making a social story for your child. Before we dive into the steps that we can take to maximize the use of social stories, let's talk about the top 3 mistakes that I often see with parents and therapists that I've coached. By being aware of these mistakes, you would be able to prepare to avoid them and also make your social stories more impactful. Mistake number 1, reading the story to your child. Yes, you have heard me right. Reading the story to your child can be jeopardizing the effectiveness of the social story. But don't worry, stay tuned as we'll find out how to do it the right way in a bit. And mistake number 2 would be using advanced vocabularies. So this is a big one. I often see parents and therapists creating social story using words they understand. So words that I understand, not what my child understands or what my child is exposed to. So let's take a look at some common examples over here and how to simplify to your child's level. So for example, and the difficult word may look like upset. So instead of saying I feel upset, I could say I feel angry, I feel sad. So tie it to a primary emotion. Next, it can be the word independent. So instead of word independent, I can say do it myself, doing it myself. Next, it could be inappropriate. So this is an inappropriate behavior. You shouldn't be doing this. Instead of saying inappropriate, you would tell them from perspective, making others feel bad, making others feel uncomfortable. Lastly, is to disrupt. This behavior might disrupt our classmates. And instead of saying disrupt, we can say friends cannot listen to teacher. Lastly, mistake number 3 is to stay within the story. So sticking only to the story and not bring the story to life. So focusing only on the social story itself without helping your child apply it to real life situations can really hold back their ability to react appropriately in social settings. So I will show how to make the story come alive in real world for better results. Now that we've tackled these common mistakes, let's shift gears and explore 5 simple steps which can supercharge the effectiveness of your social stories today. Ready? Let's go. Step 1. Involve your child. So don't just read to your child like what I've said, get them actively involved. Encourage your child to either read along or point to the words as you go. If reading is challenging, then ask them to repeat the keywords and let them read those keywords if you're able to. So example, you could say, I will ring the doorbell. If they can't read, then you read it for them and get them to repeat after you. So you say, I will ring the doorbell. Say ring Then they'll ring the doorbell. Can you show me where's the doorbell? So next is also ask them to analyze the pictures in the social story. For children with limited speech, try asking them to point to the picture when you are reading. For example, say, show me doorbell. This helps your child to better understand the connection between pictures and text. So you can say, ring the doorbell. Then you can ask them to point to the picture where the doorbell is. So over here, the picture. And then if you want to further generalize it, then get them to point to the doorbell outside your house. Step 2 is use simple language. So keep your language simple at your child's level. As they grow and their vocabulary expand, you can use more complex words. For example, instead of saying eye contact, you can use simple word like look. And this makes the story more relatable and easier to understand for your child. Number 3, practice when your child is calm. The best time to introduce the social story is not when your child is already in that situation or whether your child is already having a meltdown. So not when in stress. So you just imagine if we're trying to learn something new while we're struggling to regulate our emotions, it's a lot harder. So same for our child. To set up your child for success, practicing these strategies during their calm moments would help them to be more successful when the situation arises. Role play is super important. Which brings me to our 4th step. Roleplay, roleplay, roleplay. I cannot stress this enough. Roleplay is a key to success. To ensure that your child is fully prepared, they need to practice the steps and strategies from the social story in different scenarios. So role-playing helps them to respond naturally in real situations, using the right tone, body language, and even real props, like actually really drinking water. And the more they practice, the more confident they will be in handling the situation when the situation arises. Lastly, step 5, which is to generalize. So this is the part where I say to bring the story calm to life, right? Once your child is comfortable with the strategy, involve other family members. This helps them to be flexible in different situations and not only react to one person, which is you, who is bringing the social story to them. And it also helps to generalize across places as well. So we need to think in terms of people, places, and also making sense of the story, the text, the picture to the real object. Like what I've mentioned just now, the doorbell. Get your child to really go out and practice the role-playing part of pressing the doorbell. So when your child actually does what is expected, without reminders, without social story, remember to reinforce the positive behavior when they do what is expected. So it's always good to pair it with a token board, which I've mentioned in the previous tutorial. It helps to bring to their awareness what they are doing right, which would make them want to do more of it as well. So how often should we be reading the social story? Research has shown that reading social story once a day was an effective approach. And based on my own clinical experience, I agree. And sometimes reading right before the social situation happens helped my student respond better and be more successful in the situation and in the moment itself. So at the end of the day, consistency is key, but timing makes a big difference too. For example, over here, we can look at, okay, they are going to the airport and you want to prepare them to take a plane and the procedures and let them not freak out when the security is checking them. What can we do? Read the social story before we leave house, on the car ride there, and then when they reach there, you can use it as a visual guide. So at the strategies page, just put it there for them, and when things happen, just go through as you guys check in, follow up with the social story so that they can make sense and help them to predict what is going to happen, which will help to reduce the anxiety and also follow what's expected at that point of time. Lastly, let's take a look at how you can present this social story to your child, depending on their attention and their distraction level. So we can look at screening it. So over here, you can see maybe an iPad or your phone. Then you can just show your child. If your child doesn't have the tendency to play with the phone or the iPad, then you can read through the digital copy of your social story through it. Next, we can either ring it, staple it, or fasten it with a fastener. So in this case, if your child has tendency to tear everything up, then laminating it would be a good option. Otherwise, you can just staple it or you just ring it and then get your child to flip like a storybook. I hope you have learned how to effectively engage your child with a social story and make it even more effective than it already is. But if you're still struggling, No worries, because change starts today. Let's learn how to create social stories tailored to your child's needs in a way that is caregiver friendly and effective. I'm excited to see how these social stories will make a difference in your child's life. So feel free to contact us through our QR code for more support. With that, stay safe, stay empowered, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.